Hey everyone. Financial stability is something we're all after, right? It's a huge part of living a happy life. But when your finances are a mess, it creates this constant nagging stress that just seeps into everything else.
So let me just ask you straight up. Is financial stress stealing your happiness? Because, this is about way more than just numbers in a bank account. This kind of pressure can seriously mess with your health, both physical and mental, and it just makes it impossible to ever feel truly secure.
But here's the good news. It really doesn't have to be this way. Today, we're going to walk through a really clear, simple plan to get your finances back on track and start building a future where you're in control. All right, let's get into it.
Okay, so first things first, we have to tackle the biggest roadblock for almost everyone: debt. Understanding how to manage and ultimately get rid of debt is absolutely the first, most crucial step on this path.
So what is a loan really? Well, at its core, it's just what happens when your spending is higher than your income. And it's so important to see it for what it truly is. It is the literal opposite of financial freedom. It basically chains your future paychecks to your past decisions.
And the real cost here, it's not just about the money. It's that constant mental weight on your shoulders, That feeling like you can never, ever get ahead. That kind of stress just crushes any chance at real well-being. And in some really tragic cases, it can lead to some truly devastating personal crises.
And there's actually a name for this trap. It's called the vicious cycle of poverty. And man, once you're caught in it, it can feel like there's no way out.
So how does this whole thing work? Well, it usually starts pretty innocently. You take out a small loan to cover some basic needs. Then, your monthly income starts going toward paying back that loan. But now, because a chunk of your income is gone, you need another loan to cover new expenses. And the cycle just keeps going, pulling you deeper and deeper.
And you can see how this just ripples out into every part of your life. It's not some private struggle. This cycle can make it nearly impossible to get ahead socially. It can make you dependent on other people, and it can even make friends and family start to avoid you because they're worried you're going to ask for money. It just breeds these feelings of inferiority and leaves all those family dreams on the back burner.
So what's a huge driver of this cycle? You guessed it, credit cards. They create this illusion that you have all this extra buying power, making it super easy to buy stuff you don't really need. But you have to remember, that is not your money. It's the bank's money.
Let's just make this super clear. When you use a debit card, you're spending your money. That means you are in full control. But with a credit card, you're spending the bank's money, which puts you at a huge risk of falling right into that debt trap we've been talking about. It really comes down to choosing control over risk.
Okay, enough about the problem, right? Let's start talking about the solution. And your very first line of defense, the first thing you should build, is an emergency fund. Think of it like your own personal financial safety net.
An emergency fund is, well, it's exactly what it sounds like. It's a pile of cash you set aside for one reason and one reason only: to handle those curveballs life throws at you, so you don't have to reach for a credit card or a loan. And the easiest way to start is to just automate it. Set up a tiny automatic transfer to a separate savings account every payday. Even a little bit starts to add up fast.
So, how much are we talking about? Well, the goal you want to aim for is about 2 to 3 times your total monthly income. I know that sounds like a lot, but having that much cash set aside creates this incredible buffer against all the uncertainty in the world.
So what's this fund actually for? Well, it's for when a sudden health issue pops up in the family. It's there to make sure you can keep your lifestyle going for a few months if you suddenly lose your job. But honestly, it's more than that. It builds a rock-solid foundation for all of your finances and gives you this incredible sense of courage to face just about any situation without panicking.
All right, so once you've started building that emergency fund, it's time to go on the offensive. Let's talk about a super effective strategy to get you to total debt freedom.
And you know what? The plan is actually refreshingly simple. It's just 2 main steps. First, you're going to pour all your extra energy into paying off your smallest loan completely. Then, step 2 is to start systematically weakening your bigger long-term loans.
Now you might be thinking, wait, shouldn't I pay off the loan with the highest interest rate first? And look, mathematically, yeah, that can save you a bit more money. But this strategy, this is all about psychology. When you score that first quick win, when you completely wipe out a debt, it builds this incredible confidence and momentum. It proves to you that you can do this, and that energy is what you'll use to tackle the bigger debts next.
So how do you weaken those big loans? Simple. You attack them. You pay more than the minimum payment each month, even if it's just a little bit extra. Anytime you get an annual bonus or some extra cash comes your way, you throw a big chunk of it right at the loan. The whole goal is to chip away at that principal balance, which eventually lowers your required monthly payment and just takes so much pressure off your income.
So, by following these steps, building that safety net and then having a clear plan to knock out your debt, you're not just managing a problem anymore. You are literally creating a brand new beginning for yourself.
The big takeaway here is that real, lasting economic freedom isn't some pipe dream. It is absolutely possible. The key is just to stay debt-free and to keep reducing the pressure on your income, which frees it up to start building the life that you actually want.
So, I'll just leave you with this one question. After everything we've talked about today, what's going to be your first, real, concrete step towards your own financial freedom? Are you going to open up that savings account for your emergency fund? Or are you going to make a plan to kill that smallest debt? The journey starts right now.